right, quick preview here for Rutgers-Wisconsin Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, airing live on FS1 at the Rack. Huge opportunity for Rutgers men's basketball. First of 3 straight home games, all right now listed as quad one opportunities. Wisconsin on Monday night, Purdue on Thursday night, and then UCLA the following Monday. They may all 3 be ranked. In the AP poll, that's really kind of irrelevant, but just from a perception standpoint, it doesn't hurt. But obviously, Rutgers in serious need of getting some momentum here. And I did a podcast on Friday just kind of talking about the state of things and, changes I kind of thought should be made. And just in terms of obviously a very disappointing performance at Indiana. Obviously, Dylan Harper not playing was a big part of that. But Pikel was pretty adamant in that postgame he'd be available and ready to go for this game. And really, you're hoping that this team kind of has a fresh mentality going into this game and this homestand, because they have a real chance here. And I know that people want to dismiss it. I understand the frustrations and the concerns. I have them as well, but I also think it's extreme to just write this team off. But we'll really know about this team and its chances to make the March Madness NCAA tournament after this 3-game homestand. They have to win at least 2. Ideally, you win all 3, and then you're back on track. You still have work to do, but it's a realistic outcome. If you go 1-2 or worse on this homestand, then it's looking bleak. Now, obviously, the next 14 games are all against quad 1 or 2 opponents. I think 12 of the 14 are quad 1. So there's a lot of the story still to be written. I understand the confidence level is low, but the vibes felt good after that 9-day break. Columbia, obviously it's just Columbia, but the team played much more connected. And then they really were off their game without Dylan Harper in Indiana. That was a very frustrating game because it was winnable, and they just could not execute enough as a team. Obviously, the rebounding was a huge issue. Wisconsin, very good shooting team. They just were 21 of 31 against Iowa, where they blitzed them on Friday night at home, 116 points. So huge concern in this game. That can Rutgers defend the 3? Now, Wisconsin spaces the floor. They have size. They are shooting really well from 2-point range. They're shooting 55.6% inside the arc this year at 67th best. They are the top free throw shooting team in the country right now at 85.3%. In terms of actually getting to the line, they're pretty proficient in terms of the free throw rate, over 37%. So Rutgers has to be really smart defensively. They have to close out on the shooters. They have to defend without fouling. They can't get sloppy and foul with their hands or be late, to a spot with their feet. And they have to box out. They have to box out. They have to box out. Whether they play zone or not tonight, they have to, even if you're man-to-man, if you're spaced out and you're defending on the perimeter, you got to get a body on who you're guarding, because they can't afford second chance points, which absolutely killed them against Indiana. And with Wisconsin, you can't allow long rebounds. You can't allow kick out threes off a rebound where a shooter's open. They have to limit first chance, or they need to limit second chance opportunities. That's really the key, because Wisconsin's so good at extending possessions, whether it's through the free throw line, offensive rebounding, they're about average, a little bit below average. They're a relatively good defensive rebounding team, but this is not a team that's going to crash the boards per se on the offensive glass. But if Rutgers is sloppy on the defensive end, Wisconsin is capable of taking advantage of it. Like I said, they can get a lot of dagger threes there, but they've shot 60% or better in their last 3 games from 2-point range. So offensively, this is a team that if you don't come to defend, they're going to light it up. They've scored less than 80 points once, twice, 3 times all season. Their 3 losses are all against really good teams: Michigan, Marquette, and Illinois. They have wins over Iowa, Butler, Arizona, Pitt. So they have some good wins. Now, their only 2 true road games they've lost. That was at Marquette, at Illinois. So we know how Wisconsin folded last year at the Rack in terms of who they have back that was in that game. Stephen Crow, Max Klesmit, and Nolan Winter. So 3 starters. Obviously, Winter's 6'11", Klesmit 6'4", Kroll 7 foot. But again, they space the floor really well. They can all shoot it. I mean, Winter is 35% from 3 on 34 attempts. And Kroll, isn't shooting from 3 that much this year, but he's 58% from inside. But, Tanji, the transfer from Missouri, he's been fantastic. He's 98 of 105 from the foul line. So he gets to the foul line a ton, shooting 93%. He's also shooting 39% from 3-point range on 65 attempts. So, the 6'5" senior, he's a problem. They have to lock him down. I would think Jeremiah Williams is going to get that assignment, maybe Durkak at times too. Blackwell is a really good scorer for them, and he's super efficient from the line, 82%, 2-point range, 58%, shooting 35% on 55 threes. So, they just have multiple shooters, multiple scorers in this game. And, if Rutgers doesn't bring the intensity, if they don't bring the focus, I think for me, the big sign that I'm looking for is mental toughness. Does this team have the mental toughness that they're going to need to get back into things and really make a serious run here? Because they're going to give up threes in this game. They can't let it snowball. They can't allow kill shots of a 10-0 or worse run by Wisconsin, because they can light it up, but they have to be able to handle adversity better. They have to be connected on the floor on both ends. They have to share the ball better. They have to make Wisconsin work on defense. Wisconsin's not a great defensive team at all. They're 80th in terms of defensive efficiency. Rutgers hasn't been good at all either. They're right now 99th, which is crazy to say. Offensively, they're 70th, but defensively, Rutgers has really struggled on the glass and defending the arc. They're allowing opponents to shoot 34.9% from 3, but it's the mental toughness. They've proven that they can rebound at times, they can defend at times, but can they put it all together in a 40-minute effort that's going to take to beat a quality team like Wisconsin? The crowd's going to be there for them. Rutgers fans that are going to be there tonight are going to bring it, but the team needs to give them reasons to make the roof blow off the place, right? And I think, obviously, Dylan Beanback is huge. Ace had an unbelievable game against Indiana. I think the flow of this game, how does Rutgers start? They need to share the basketball early. I shared my thoughts on getting Acuff and Somerville more minutes, because offensively, I think that's your best unit. And, you may need to score 90 tonight to win. And you may hold Wisconsin to 80 points and play relatively good defense. So the biggest key is not allowing open threes, not allowing easy buckets at the rim, challenging everything, contesting everything. Rutgers has not done a great job of forcing turnovers. Wisconsin does not turn it over. They also don't force turnovers. So the turnover battle is going to be key. Rutgers cannot be sloppy with the ball. They have to value the ball. And they just have to come out with a focus and intensity and a certain mentality tonight that you want to believe that this team can put it together. And if they don't, and they lose this game, it's going to be troubling, because Purdue and UCLA are not going to be any easier. And you have to manifest some momentum some way, somehow. And this game is a logical kind of jumping off point that if they could win this game, you go into Purdue on Thursday with a little bit of momentum. The crowd's going to be even a little bit more juiced. Purdue is not invincible at all this year. Good guards, but this is where Rutgers, if they're going to make a run to March, it starts now. This is where they have to build the momentum, and it starts tonight against Wisconsin. In terms of the Badgers, they're 26th in KenPom overall. Not only are they just the top free throw shooting team in the country, they've given up this. They have the second best steal rate from an offensive perspective. They don't turn it over. 18th best nationally. And they're top 100 in 2-point, 3-point, 56% from 2, 35% from 3. This team can light it up, in multiple ways. So, again, the spacing on the floor, they can't let Wisconsin spacing them out take their focus off the defensive glass. They have to lock it down. They have to limit possessions. Indiana had 11 more shots than Rutgers did, and that's a recipe for disaster. So that can't happen tonight, especially against a team that is so good offensively, 12th best in terms of offensive efficiency nationally. And just in terms of Rutgers, I mean, they have to have that supporting cast step up. Jeremiah Williams has to step up on both ends of the floor tonight. You need complementary scoring. It can't just be Ace and Dillon. That's obvious. But just in terms of, I would imagine you're going to see Somerville more than Egbole tonight, simply because Wisconsin does play their fives outside of the paint, more or less. So I think, that actually is good for Rutgers, because I think Somerville provides them so much more on the offensive end. And they need to look to run when they can. I think pressure, that really bothered Wisconsin last year. Obviously, they have not the exact same cast that they had last year, but they needed to be disruptive. They need to create offense through their defense, and that's been a big problem. It hasn't just been that they're allowing easy baskets. They're not generating anything on offense through their defense. That's a big part of it too. So for a team like Wisconsin that doesn't typically turn it over, if they can shake them a little bit, if they can get them off balance, if they can create some pressure, some trapping, I would really like to see that kind of aggression from Rutgers early on. And obviously, you have to be fundamentally sound. If they do go to the zone, they have to do a better job of locating shooters and locating the body after a shot to box out and get a body on someone, because they can't allow too many offensive rebounds by Indiana that led to easy buckets at the rim. They weren't even really kicking it out for threes. They were just laying it in because there's no one in the paint. So we'll see. Obviously, it's a relatively quick turnaround time from last Thursday, and we'll see what this mentality of this team is. But you want to see the passion. You want to see the fight. You have to see leadership on the floor. The team has to be talking to each other. This is a chance to get back into things, but it has to start now. And we'll see what happens tonight. Again, 7 p.m., FS1, Rutgers, Wisconsin. The road to getting back into contention is there. This team has not given a lot of confidence that they can due to recent performances, but we've also seen them. I mean, Texas A&M and Alabama are two top 12 teams in the country, and Rutgers gave both those teams everything they can handle. So can that team channel and learn from that experience and show up these next 3 games and get Rutgers back into it? We will see. I'll be back with the post-game rapid reaction. But overall, obviously, this team needs to make a statement tonight, and you need complementary scoring. I think this is a game where you need Acuff, you need Jeremiah Williams to get in that double digit or close range. You need Somerville to provide points inside, and Rutgers has to be smart. They need to attack Wisconsin defensively. I believe Rutgers can be the more physical team. They need to come out with aggression. But they need to play smart and within themselves. They can't be reckless and start fouling all over the place, because they'll get buried. Wisconsin, 85% from free throw line, tops in the country. This is a game where Rutgers has to play with discipline, smarts, and stay within themselves. I know I'm going to get comments that, Aaron, they haven't done that all season, blah, 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 blah. Well, never too late to start. Let's see what this team has in terms of backs against the wall. That's what it is at this point. It's January 6th, and their backs pretty much for an early January season. This is about as close to a must-win as you have. Can they respond? That's what we're looking for tonight. Not just to play well, but to come through, get a big win, and change some momentum and start to turn things around here. Thanks so much for listening here at the Scarlet Faithful Podcast. I'll be back after the game.